UNDP helped the people and government of Bangladesh to create a more sustainable, peaceful, innovative, and resilient economy, environment, and society. The UNDP's work helps its partners to improve the quality of Bangladeshi governance and reduces poverty and inequality in cities and villages across the country. It promotes new and innovative energy and climate solutions and helps to make Bangladesh a leader in disaster preparation and management. To talk about UNDP, may I request Ms. Shaila Khan ma'am to say a few words about UNDP Bangladesh.
These are, I believe, all the delegates from different countries, because I understand that this is the August audience representing the General Assembly. So I understand number of member countries are here, and it's an opportunity to speak a few words about UNDP. First of all, I must say that I am honored. They have said Shaila Khan. Let me introduce myself. I'm Shaila Khan. I'm Assistant Country Director and Advisor, Business Development of UNDP. And just to say a little bit more about myself, is I had the privilege to work with United Nations for the past 25 years. So I must say it's very interesting for me to celebrate my silver jubilee. So it has been a long haul that I had the privilege to work with the United Nations, not just with UNDP alone. I work with UNICEF. I believe that many of you know that United Nations Children's Fund. Of course, the E was there long time back, which was the emergency. And it's not that children are not in emergency, but since it was soon after the World War II, of course that crisis wasn't the same, so that's why we don't say E anymore. Then I have had an opportunity to work with United Nations volunteers also, and of course UNDP. I was struck by one thing. It's one dream. And with UNDP, that is also, we try to help countries to support, to achieve the dreams. And that is a shared dream of the government of different nations. Now, if I come to UNDP Bangladesh, what we do, yes, again, we try to support the aspirations of this country, to support the people of this country, and as we say, that people is definitely at the center stage that we support. So if I say in one word what we do in UNDP in Bangladesh, I would say we try to make a difference in the lives of the people of Bangladesh. That's I can really say in one word that what UNDP does in Bangladesh. UNDP in Bangladesh, we do have like thematic areas. I think somebody just mentioned before I really was, I was called on here, is the poverty, climate change, looking into the governance, and under the governance is local governance. Our primary role at the same time, that as I mentioned, that now that we have the 7th five-year plan, I'm sure that all of you know about this major document that Bangladesh has, and of course to support, to achieve the sustainable development goals. And that is one of the things that definitely that UNDP is very much working with the government and providing technical support to the government. Particularly, it is of course all the SDG 17 goals that we touch upon, but we do focus on goal 16. And I know I don't want to make a speech. I really would like to have more of an interactive thing while I say. Can from the audience say what is this SDG 16 is about? Anybody would like to share that what is SDG 16? Okay, I am sure that in the General Assembly there will be side meetings to really discuss about sustainable development goals, the 17 goals. 16 is about peace, that one of the things that I was saying that it's very, very, in a way that very appropriate, that you're talking about world peace, and 16 is about peace and governance, all of that. So UNDP Bangladesh is focusing on goal 16 very much. Not just 16, but all the related goals which relates to climate change and environment. And of course, we say the gender as well. So UNDP in Bangladesh, we have been working since 1972. That was a very different context, definitely soon after the Liberation War. And since then, we are here. It was the 50th anniversary of UNDP's partnership with the government of Bangladesh. It was last year, so this is the 51st anniversary, one could say, and it is 17th of February, again, which is upcoming. As we have mentioned, that in different thematic areas, but to be very honest, I mean, just talking about UNDP, what do we do in Bangladesh, it will be very boring. I want to take this opportunity also, because I was telling your colleagues here that what is there for me to say. And I was given this privilege that I should be speaking from my heart. And that's, believe me, that's something that I really want to do so, because what I see here in this room is all of talents and potentials and Bangladesh, the world tomorrow. And I'm sure the time ahead of you where you will also say, and I pray that 25 years that I have passed in the development world, not just United Nations, that has been indeed revealing, and many of you, not just UN, but in different development work or different professional career path that you're going to take. And each and every bit of it, I'm sure that you will enjoy. Bangladesh is indeed very privileged that we have 1/3 of the population is youth, and not just Bangladesh, but in the South Asia. That is a huge youth population that we have. And we count on all of you. It's important not just to study, but to really debate amongst yourself, really see what the meaning of life is, not to digress into different things. It's everything in life is very, very important. And you should also enjoy life. That is also very important. The youthfulness. Now the point is, how do you define that youthfulness? Do engage in different things that you are doing. Challenge your friends and those who are not amongst us right now. One of the things that I was speaking to one of the professors in Dhaka University, that I understand that in this room, the youth that I see is the most privileged ones. But do think of those who are not privileged. So one of the expectations from this General Assembly, this August gathering, that you will also think that how can you link yourself, not just in Dhaka, but network out of Dhaka, the students and the youth like you. How can you share your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom to them, and do rope them in the thinking patterns, the life, the enjoyments that you have in your life also. Share that. That's the youth that we really aspire. You are indeed the future leader. You have your own dream. I know that, of course, the aspiration that soon after the language movement and the liberation, the father of the nation, he has a dream. There is a dream. But personally, I think, yes, that is very important. But at the same time, please do not stop dreaming. You must have your dream too. And just go for it, chase your dream, because I'm sure that you will be there where you want to be. So I really take this opportunity once again. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm honored, I'm happy, and re-energized. So I want to keep doing this and at least have a youthful mind. I may not be youth as you are, but in terms of my work and my spirit, I want to remain as a youth and have a youthful life. Thank you very much.
Presence. Now, to present the crest to Shaila ma'am, I would like to call upon the Secretary General and the President, Mr. Faisal Rashid San, and also the Faculty Advisor, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to call upon the Secretary General once again to commence with the plenary session.
So I would like to call upon on stage the plenary President Zunaid Nur Alam.
Honorable delegates, my apologies because I have a very bad sore throat and my voice is not the proper voice I have, so sorry for that. Before we proceed, I'd like to share a story with you. Before I call my Vice President of the plenary, our today's Vice President of the plenary is a manner, is a very a veteran manner. We started Union together back in 2009, 8, something like that. She was the first manner from Bangladesh who attended the Global Model UN in Geneva, one of the first. The Global Model UNs, which probably you guys don't even know about, were the MUNs that was hosted by the UN itself. So she had the privilege to be in Geneva, the regional headquarters of UN, for the Global Model UN back in 2009 and back in 2010. Why is she so special to me? She's a fighter. She's a fighter in her life. We were friends, we are still friends, a very good friend. But the problem is, in our Indian career, she stopped somewhere due to cancer. But she did not give up. She fought with cancer. And today, she's a cancer survivor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lili Nafrin Jui, the Vice President for today's General Plenary. Her last UN was back in 2014, the BRAC Global Model UN.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Zunaid, very much. And thank you, everyone present here, honorable delegates, dear guests, everybody, for giving me this opportunity to be here after so many years. I was so active back in my time, and the fact that I know even some of the faces here now, I'm grateful just for that people did not forget me, and I was invited. And I am very nervous right now because I think it's after almost 2 years that I am publicly speaking. This time I was diagnosed with cancer in 2015, mid-15, and I had my transplant this year in March, bone marrow transplant. So it's amazing to be here among you and serve as the Vice President of Plenary. Thank you so much. I hope we have great sessions. May we make the world better every day. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost pleasure to invite the chairperson for the UNGA First Committee, that is DISEC, Mr. Tazveer Islam, up on stage. Next, we have the UNGA ECOFIN. Mr. Ijaz Mohammad Fuad, up on stage. Next, we have the president for SPECPOL, the chair for SPECPOL, Mr. Ahnaf Tahmid, on stage. committee we have all been... Sorry about that. This is the committee that we are all looking for in this conference, because when we were working the topics for this committee, we know that this is not possible what we want in this committee. Then even we hope that we can make world peace and we can articulate a peace roadmap for the Korean Peninsula. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of United Nations Security Council, Mr. Rifat bin Rafi Reza. Then we have the chair for UNODC, Mr. Tanvi Vibayat. Then we have the chairperson. This guy he came all the way from India, a very near and dear friend of mine, Mr. Mayank Mehta, the chairperson of UNHRC. Then we have the chairperson of IMF, Mr. Shimanto Hop. Then the chairperson for WTO, Mr. Ashabul Mahmood. Then the Honorable Chairperson of EU, Mr. Jonaid Nasir Onik. Then the Chairperson of IAEA, Tamanna Tasnim Kriti. Delegates, these are the primary committees we have for our conference. But the rest two, council or committee, whatever you want to name it, be very careful and aware of those two persons I'm going to call next. Number one, she herself becomes crisis sometimes. The crisis chair, Ms. Lubzana Afrin. Be very careful about her. And then, wherever you go, whatever you do, they'll be following you. The IT chief editor, Ms. Majabin Hai. With that, I would like to hand over the mic to Honorable Chair of the DICET, Mr. Tazveer Islam.
Thank you, Honorable Plenary President. Delegates, I will be the chairperson of DICET. Before that, today I feel light, I feel powerful, I feel stronger. That's because that side of the podium, that's my dream over there. And till date, my Secretary General in NSU-MNC is the most successful Secretary General, bring the most highest number of awards to bring the highest number of delegates. And today, just last year, I was on that side of the committee. Today, I'm sitting here with my mentors out there, Mr. Anaf Tamid and Zunat Nuralam, who's the founder. Thank you, sir. And before that, my committee's agenda is renegotiation, expansion, implementation of the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. I was in the academic team, but it was by that guy over there. So it is said in the study guide like it is the beginner level committee, but it is not the beginner level committee, trust me. We have the 5 protocols down there. As we guys already know, during 1980s, the first convention was formed. And later on, 3 furthermore convention was added back in 2001. And what we look for, 2 other heated topics that United Nations talk about is like cluster bombs, another is killer robots. So actually as a DAS member, I'm not looking for a fruitful resolution. We have a lot of resolution. I'm looking for feasible resolution. That's what I'm looking for. And together with my 70 delegates and 2 of the DAS members and 2 of my volunteers, together we will make this committee a big hit. And I will make sure, like 2.5 years ago, like I did fall in love with the MUN, you will fall in love with it too. Thank you, sir. And my vice chair for GA1 DICET will be Samia Sal, who is missing. She is come from Chittagong to Dhaka today. And another talented manor itself, Mohammad Imadul Islam. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tazveer Islam. I thought you'd need some tissues after that. With that, Mr. Izaz, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Plenary President Zunat Bhai. My agenda is elevating offshore holdings to combat financial scam. At first, I'd like to recognize my co-chair, Sabrina Rahman. She's from Dhaka University, and Shafiul Kabir from REC. Please. Thank you. The concept, it was first raised on mid-1980s, but came into focus on very recent time. It was in April this year, while Mossack Fonseca, one of the Panama legal companies, who leaked some of the papers of the people who are accused to run some of the illegal activities, financial activities offshore. So we are mainly going to deal about those kind of issues in our committee, and hope we are coming with some of the very fruitful draft resolutions. But I would like to say that focusing onto draft resolution is not my prior concern, because I heard that most of the delegates of my committee are new manners. So I'm going to be very much focusing on the learning process of the Model United Nations, that they will be very, very good delegates after this MUN, I believe that. So I'd like to say, don't be very much like over-enthusiastic about your committee activities. Destroy other delegates with your love and dedication, and learn, fun, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jazz. Next, my very near and dear friend, Mr. Anaf Tamid, the chair of SPECPOL, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Plenary President. So I won't take much time. I believe most of the delegates have been waiting all day long. I would just move into directly to the agenda that we'll be speaking about in SPECPOL. Am I audible? Yes, okay, cool. So in SPECPOL, it's a special political committee, the 4th committee of the General Assembly, and we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. And so throughout these 3 days, we will be debating and trying to focus on the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land, and at the same time try and come up with a 2-state solution if possible. Now, this has been a huge dispute in the international arena for a very long time. See, let me just tell you how important this is. If there is a cancer cell in your body, and if you don't take care of it, what happens? It spreads, right? So now think that 20 years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, was the Middle East this volatile? So just one problem, one conflict in the Middle East has spread so much right now that it has become uncontrollable at this moment, and now the non-state factors are there and it's spreading all over the places, and even our beloved country has been affected. So if we don't come to a consensus and come up with a resolution very soon to bring peace over there, and as you can see, the whole theme of the conference is to reestablish peace. So our basic focus is going to be solving all the conflict, the root conflict of all the other conflicts, and come up and introduce peace after a very long time. Besides that, it's really good to be here once again. I'm really happy that I'm here. It is it feels really good to see that the people who you left to take care of the club has brought the club back to success again and coming up with the second edition of the conference. So, best of luck. So, best of luck to the secretariat and the whole secretariat team. You guys did an excellent job. Let me also introduce my co-chair who flew all the way from China. Please, Zhang Hao. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. And my director, Mashuba. Ooh, popular, huh? Very popular, huh? Okay, so we're gonna have fun in the Spec Bowl. We're gonna be the most awesome comedy, no doubt about it. Yeah, we're the highest in numbers, so we're gonna dominate. Habe, kala habe. Okay.
Play will happen. Play will happen. We will see who plays what. We'll wait till the 18th night. 19th. Now, the chair of UNODC, Mr. Tanvi Vibhag.
To the delegates of UNODC, can I hear from you guys? I expected better from you people. Anyways, our agenda is transnational organized crime related to drug trafficking. I know many of the delegates, after looking at this agenda, started watching Narcos and started following Pablo Escobar, but that does not actually help in formulating a resolution towards it. Let's hope that you guys have researched properly and hope that you guys will give a heated up session. As I promised, if you guys do give your full, the DIAS panel will perform with you guys in the socials, and we will keep our promises if you deliver your promises as well. UNODC, a committee which actually regulates drugs and crimes together. So since this is a huge issue and our theme is reestablishing world peace, we will try to establish world peace by helping other people from getting away from drugs and taking away the transnational organized criminals. Thank you, that's all. Thank you. And the vice chair and director who couldn't make it today, the vice chair is Tausif Akib Khan and director is Tazwar Kashem. Thank you.
I believe I've seen Mr. Tausif. He was not here? Okay. Then the guy who fights for human rights. He's a specialized person in UNHRC, Mr. Mark Mehta.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm first of all, thank you to NSU, IMUN to calling me from India for chairing this particular conference. I'll first of all like to recognize my vice chairperson, Mr. Asad Khan, and the director Ghalib. I'm very bad with names. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So, as I know, there are a lot of first-timers in the committee, so my major focus will be on your learning I'll make sure that you learn that is rule of procedure, professionalism, documentation, negotiations. But I'll make sure that every delegate in my committee is contributing to the agenda. And a special thing is in this particular council is like Human Rights Council, you might not be well researched, but you can make your own speeches. You can make your speeches and then give out your speech. Try speaking up because that will help you to learn. If you speak in future MUNs, you will grow yourself and you will be able to perform what you are here for. And one day you might be replacing us very soon. Okay, the agenda which we are discussing is abolishing death penalty as the capital punishment. The agenda is quite easy and quite familiar to all the delegates, I hope so. But looking forward for a great debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I request the chairperson of IMF, Mr. Shimanto Haq.
Thank you, Mr. Planning President. Well, I would like to first tell you this, that it is an honor to sit here with my first chair, Kriti Apu, and the chairperson, Anand Bhai, who gave me the first Best Delegate Award. And it's actually, I mean, when we talk about success, this is what I feel, that coming here is what success is for me in MUN. Let me tell you a little about my agenda. We are dealing with the economic effect of war in the Middle East and Africa. Well, the agenda is very easy to understand, but very hard when it comes to actually work on financial things when we deal with economic problems of the world. A small tip for my delegate is to not forget, I have been getting a lot of Facebook messages about like what are the GSLs, moderated session, unmoderated sessions. Just know this, research, and we will teach you everything about MUN in the committee sessions. Just research. Thank you very much. And my vice chairperson, who is not here today, is Rubaiyat Simon, who is an excellent manner. And my director, Labib, he's an excellent manner as well. And it's an honor to share the committee with them. Thank you very much.
Delegates on the left side of the stage, please be seated. Please be seated, delegates who are standing over there. That is not a diplomatic norm. When your chair is speaking, or someone, it might not be your chair, a senior person to you, you should not stand up and leave the room just like that. Moving on, may I request the chairperson of WTO, Mr. Ashabul. Sir.
Thank you, Honorable Planning President, for giving me the floor. So, in WTO committee, we have to deal with the agenda trade in precious minerals linked to illicit flows as smuggling. So, smuggling is not a recent trend. It has been a serious trend throughout the histories. So, after 2000, the trend of smuggling have changed a lot. Now, people use internet or something technologies for this smuggling stuffs. So, it is also related to sometimes in violent extremism, because in Africa, the main reason of this violent extremism is the illicit trade of smuggling. So I would like to request the committee members of WTO to link the trade with smuggling. How the precious minerals are being smuggled through the trade routes. I'd like to request our delegates to research about this. And now I would like to introduce the co-chairperson of the WTO, Mr. Tahmid Alam Samin, and Mr. Director, Syed Fazul Mahdi. And we three will serve as the executive board member in this committee, and hope for the best. And we will start our session tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request the chairperson of EU, Mr. Jonad Nasir Hanek.
Hello delegates, I'll try to be really quick. Our committee is European Union, and it's probably one of the most talked about region in the world right now, with the Brexit happening and the refugee crisis, and also the debt crisis in the USN. So one of the most united, or probably the most united continent ever, Europe, seems today as is going to be the most divided one. In terms of the refugee crisis and the debt crisis, each country is trying to do its own thing, and they are not really being able to agree on something. And more countries are seemingly going to try to exit. Everyone's trying to hold their own referendums. And so in a situation where the very purpose of why EU was formed is now being questioned, because the policies that stood for it are the ones who are being blamed for this current collapse. So the major question here is how the EU should be restructured. So that's our agenda here, restructuring the European Union. And I believe after 3 days of discussion, when we meet again on the last day in the plenary, the delegates in my committee will have a clear and feasible answer for everyone to hear. Thank you. Really sorry. My vice chair is Tasnum Islam Sineka. Can you please stand up so everyone can see you? My director is Melissa Sreshta. I have not met her. I don't think she is here. So delegates of you will probably meet her in the committee tomorrow. So thank you again, the president of the plenary.
Thank you, sir. Now, the chairperson for IAEA, Ms. Tamanna.
Hello, everyone. For this NASUIMUN 2016, me and Sariha, my co-chair, we will serve as a chair. We will both serve as a chair as equal. And we have a director in our committee, and he is Abdullah Emahin. I would like to introduce them. For this NSUIMUN session, we have a very interesting and a very alarming topic, which is improve nuclear security to combat risk of nuclear terrorism, which is now a very buzzing topic at this world, because if nuclear terrorism occurs, we may see a disastrous world. Maybe we will view World War III at this moment. So it's a very serious topic, and we definitely need to discuss about it and how we gonna prevent this, how we gonna ensure a very peaceful world. This will be our main focus, and I will hope that delegates, you will research a lot and make a great resolution for the betterment of world peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the editor-in-chief of International Press, Ms. Majabin.
Thank you, Honorable Plenary President. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to all of you. Before moving on to what International Press does, allow me to introduce you all to my sub-editor, Tasbitul Hassan from Bangladesh University of Professionals. So, International Press is all about what is going on in the committee. The journalists who would be present in the committee, they would be scrutinizing everything. You would be under surveillance 24/7, even the dais members, the delegates, everyone would be under surveillance, and all the negotiations, all the deals, the mods, unmods, everything, we would all be covering it in our newsletter. As well as that, we will be having press conferences, and the delegates would have their voice to speak out whenever they see that there's discrimination going on in the committee. So if there's any discrimination, we would be the first to know and would make sure that there's no discrimination in any committee. So we hope in every committee, all the dais members as well as the delegates would be contributing and would help the journalists to get their news, and so that we can provide you with the newsletters every day, and so that we can make it a successful conference. Thank you, Honorable Secretary General, for inviting me back and it's good to be back here, a place, my second family, a home away from home. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. We consider you as our family member as well. Now, about the crisis chair, a crisis herself, Ms. Lubzana.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir President, for giving me the opportunity to be the crisis chair. I am Lubzana Afreen, currently a graduate from IBA Dhaka University, and my responsibility would be keeping the entire MUN conference up to date with the crisis going on in the world. As you may say that I'm a crisis myself, but that's reality. MUNs are a simulation, and the responsibility of the crisis committee is to keep you up to date with the world outside. So, to be very honest, there's nothing much you can do with your research when it comes to crisis. So we will be providing you research material if needed. And me, along with my director, who's Ms. Jose Barkaze, who's not here yet, she'll be joining with the AAW team tomorrow, inshallah. So we will be observing the time you work on the crisis, and we will be going to each and every committee, and we will try our best to keep you posted with the ongoings around the world. So best of luck to all of you, and thanks again to NSU MUN Club for inviting me back again this year. It's really an honor to be invited, to be recognized, and to be appreciated for who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Lubzana. Now, it's time for the President, Mr. President of the UNSC. Sir, you have the floor.
Firstly, I would like to thank North-South University Model United Nations Club, everyone there, for inviting me and giving me this honor to serve as the President of the Security Council. I'm Rafi. I'm currently an English Department student of University of Dhaka. And with me will be serving a homeboy here, Mr. K.M. Kadir Kaushik, as the Vice President of United Nations Security Council. And the Director of the Security Council will be Mr. Manus Nag, sitting right here. Yeah. And the agenda that we are discussing, I have to say that I have seen many agendas in many MUN. This is probably one of the best agendas that I have ever seen in any MUN, that is articulating a peace roadmap for the Korean Peninsula. So, on one side, we have South Korea, backed by United States and all with its economic glory. And on the other side, we have North Korea, which is a complete mystery. So, to solve this issue, and to solve the issue between the 30th parallel line, we'll be sitting in the committee. We will not be having any position paper or any working paper in the committee. There are some special provisions for this committee provided in the study guide. We will be having a few more additional documents in the committee. And this is to make sure two things. Firstly, to make sure that we come up with something extraordinary in the closing plenary. And secondly, it is because of the basic difference between the Security Council and other General Assembly committees. That is, other committees cannot take immediate actions, while as Security Council and its resolution, they can take immediate actions, and they can, all of their resolutions are mandatory for all United Nations members. So that's why we initiated those documents, because those actually have values. So I'm looking forward to extreme debates from my committee, and I'm very glad and honored to have my 17 delegates, because though they were they are going to challenge me, I think so, because they are eligible enough to be a delegate in the Security Council, and they are all, they're just awesome. I'm very glad to have them, and looking forward to a very great conference. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mr. Tasil, could you please turn on the lights on the delegates? And Tasil. Delegates, the plenary is now open for question and answers. If you have any certain questions to any of your chairs, we will be happy to answer your questions. Please stand up if you want to ask a question. No questions to anyone? Today we won't be having any workshops. The workshop will be done tomorrow morning at the respective committee rooms. Okay, so we have a question over here.
Is it audible?
Yes, it's audible, sir.
So the question would be, how will you...
Sir, please give your identity first and then ask.
I'm Nafi Hua. I'm delegate of UK from European Union. So my question would be directly to my chair, who is my chair. Sir, how will our current agenda help in developing a better, sustainable future for the EU? That's basically my question.
Thank you, Delegate. You may take your seat. I think the question basically encircles around another question. If we have a problem and if we say that our agenda is to solve it, then the answer is that how is that agenda going to help you? If you can find a solution, it will. If you cannot, it won't. So the agenda is restructuring the European Union. So you have to find out in what terms you need to restructure it, or do you even need to restructure it? And what are the parameters you are going to use? Like, is it going to be political or economic or both or even more? So if you can find a solution that is feasible, that works. European Union was created many years ago. It was European Economic Council, then it became European Commission, then it became EU. So there are a lot of principles and treaties that European Union is based on. So probably some of those need to be cancelled, probably some new ones need to be formed. There are Schengen conventions which basically remove border control, which is actually one of the main reasons why refugee crisis is being going on. So there's the common currency euro, which is primarily responsible for the debt crisis in Eurozone. So what do we do about those things? Do we keep those things? Do we bring new things? So that's the challenge we have here. Delegate, is your question answered?
Yes, sir. It's perfectly answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Over there, at the third row.
Thank you, Chair.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
My name is Abu Hussain. I'm from International Turkish School, 12th standard. My question is to my chair of HRC. I'm the delegate of Botswana. Sir, do you believe about our agenda, it's like abolishing death penalty as a capital punishment, do you believe actually withdrawing this agenda or this topic will help or become, get peace in future, establish peace in future?
So understanding the fact, like as a chair, that's the member nations together come together and decide. As me as a chair, that will help you to facilitate. But I believe the death penalty as capital punishment should not be abolished to the 100% extent, because certain countries where there is a high rate of like high rate of criminalization happening, so that's you cannot help it. There are high rates of murders, so when they are not believe like coming back, they believe in having a death, they are believing in giving a death penalty to someone else. Why the country should be not? So my belief is that, it's my personal belief, but as a member nation, the committee should come together and decide it, because I as a chair will never force something on the delegates. I will help you to facilitate, and you will take the decision whatever you want. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? No? Yes, sir, over there. Volunteers, can you give the mic to that sir over there?
Good evening, panel. The question that I have is for the chair of SPECPOL.
I am the delegate of Cambodia from SPECPOL. The question that I have for the chair is, how do you believe we can resolve the Palestine and Israel conflict that is currently taking place in the Middle East? What do you believe is the most challenging, the most trying challenge that this problem faces?
Thank you, Delegate.
And how do you plan on abolishing it?
Okay, thank you, Delegate. See, Delegate, all the three questions that came up, all three of you need new delegates. Are you a new delegate? New, completely new. The previous question that came for HRC, are you a new delegate? Abul Hussain, are you a new delegate? New. First timer. And the previous one from the delegate of European Union, are you a new delegate? New? Okay, so let me tell you something. Sir, please take a seat. Take your seat, sir. Okay, thank you. It's very much understandable that you're asking questions which does not kind of, relate to the dais. These are questions that can be asked by delegates of international press. You're basically asking us questions which are like you're taking interviews of us regarding what our beliefs are on the agenda. See, sir, what we are supposed to do is facilitate you, help you in, understanding what the rules of procedures are in the committee. Now, sir, you need to understand what a facilitator does. A facilitator is here to facilitate among, for instance, in SPECPOL we have 100 delegates. Now, sir, if there was a central, authority making sure the times are being managed properly, that speaking time is being delegated equally, who do you think would have taken care of it? You guys would have ended fighting each other, which is why we were there in the first place. So we're basically there to help you out, run the sessions, but we're not here to express our opinions at all. We are neutral people, Delegates. Delegates, especially new delegates, don't be offended. Don't be offended if my statement at this moment is offending you. Don't feel offended. You're completely new, so it is very much understandable. I was there once upon a time in your place. I also asked questions which were not relevant. Now, what happens is that, sir, you as a delegate, you are the most powerful role, you play the most powerful role in the committee because, sir, you represent the nation. On the other hand, a dais member is just a part of the administration of the UN Secretariat. We're just there to help you function as a committee. You are the decision maker. Now, when you're asking me what solutions can be suggested, I believe, regarding the agenda, I am not supposed to be doing that. If I am providing you suggestions, now, you're the delegate of Colombia, right? Cambodia. Now, if you're asking me a solution, sir, what can Cambodia do to solve the problem of Palestine and Israel? Then I have to research about your foreign policy and then come up with an answer. Now, how many delegates do we have, sir, in SPECPOL? 100. So if 100 of you come and ask me, sir, what do we do about Israel and Palestine? I need 100 of research on 100 countries. Is it possible for one person to do, sir? Does it make sense, sir? No, sir, right? So that is something up to you. Now, definitely I can help you regarding the agenda, but what happens is that you don't come or you don't go and ask your chair about foreign policies or what are the solutions. Because solutions are supposed to be drafted by you, because you are going to be the savior of the world. You're the representative of different states. You come up with solutions. That is what you do basically. We're just there to help you out, guide you. Cool? So, delegates, whoever you are new, I understand you might have questions which are not relevant, which might require you to figure out a solution. So try to refrain from asking such questions, rather ask us questions which might help you as a delegate to function in the committee. Or questions regarding rules or technical questions that might help you run the committee tomorrow. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir, over there.
My name is Ahmed, and I'm delegate of Uzbekistan from the SPECPOL committee. My question is towards the editor of chief. Providing a solution towards the agenda of SPECPOL on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. How effective your as you, the editor of chief, and your team, how effective your role should be to delivering the resolutions towards the committee, which is more effective, UNSC, so that they can make a direct resolution or direct impact on the problem?
Well, thank you. First of all, the reporters or the journalists, it's not their role to deliver a resolution. It is your role as delegates to draft a resolution and then go for it. But the reporters, how we are going to ensure that could you repeat your question again, sir? Oh, partiality. So I mentioned in my speech that we would be making sure that no discrimination or no partiality takes place because we have the right to criticize the dais members if you face any sort of discrimination as delegates. So when the delegate, if you face any sort of discrimination, raise your voice, and we, as the international press, will make sure that your voice is heard and your voice makes it to the public so that no discrimination, no partiality, any sort of partiality takes place in this conference, because this is me, Marjabin, the editor of International Press. It's my word to you, to all the delegates. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ashik Mohammed Chaudhry from North South University. I'm the delegate of United States of America from Security Council. My question is, towards the editor-in-chief. Ma'am, how do you think the recent election in USA is going to affect in the committee sessions? And what's your opinion about it?
Sir, the press doesn't want to make any sort of comment on that. Yes, thank you.
The president believes it's too early to have a report on that. Probably by tomorrow night you'd be knowing what the press wants. But I have a question to the delegate of USA on the Security Council. Sir, are you going to make the wall? Is it for sure? Are you going to make the wall that your president promised? President-elect promised? Because in Bangladesh we do have a lot of hard-working labor workers. We can send them for building the wall.
With all due respect to the plenary president, sir, yes, we believe in change, and we believe in negotiation, and we believe in peace. And that's why, and we also believe in democracy. And that's why you can see that President-elect Trump has already stated so many statements, and we have already started working towards it. And while President-elect Trump does not take their office until...
I'm sure you're following your President-elect's footsteps, speaking a lot of rubbish. You may sit, delegate. Thank you, sir. You may sit. Thank you. So we'll take the last question. You guys have questions? Like, up there. If that's a relevant question, I'll let the chair to answer, or else I'll pass it to someone else. Yes, you wait. There might be a chance. Yes.
Hello. All right, so when you're in an MUN session, like...
Sir, your name first. Your name and committee first.
My name is Nafis Kazi. I'm the delegate of Belgium at European Union. So my question is that when we're in an intense debate or intense session, all right, so when we open an electronic device, it's basically for three reasons. One, either we want to make the working paper or resolution paper, number two. And number three is that we want to find out a statistics that's going to make the debate or the resolution much more pragmatic and realistic.
I think I got your question.
So when we can do that, why not use an electrical device in an MUN session? Why not?
You can definitely, when you're in an unmoderated caucus, definitely you can use it. And why you cannot use it when you're not in an unmoderated caucus? Because it hampers the committee proceedings. You are not listening to what your fellow delegate is saying. So that is a breach of respect or courtesy. A minimum courtesy you need to show your fellow delegates. That's the reason, sir. Yes, please sit down. I'll take one last question over there from there. Yes, from there. Over there, yes.
Hello everyone. I'm Ishaq Rafa.
I'll be delegating as a reporter of Reuters. I have a question to the chief editor, like that. How many committees will be given a particular delegate to observe? The question two is, can we switch the observing committee as our own, or will be specified by the authority?
Can you repeat the questions? You're not clear, sir. Repeat your question.
Question one or question two?
Both.
All right. How many committees will be given a particular delegate to observe?
Oh, how many, as to which committees you'll be visiting, that totally depends on your editor. She will probably send it tomorrow morning on seeing the committee proceedings. And the second question?
Can we have a room for prior research as a
What?
journalist?
What?
Prior research. Can we have a room for prior research like other delegates did for their committees? Like journalists study.
That depends on your editor. That's not up to us. Yes, with that, we'd like to end the session. I believe, are there any motions or any? Yes, sir. There'll be no need tomorrow morning at the committee session now. Okay, we do have some question about researchers. It's just a very short 30 seconds. The president of UNSC will answer how to research.
Okay, firstly, you have the study guide. So firstly, go through the study guide very carefully, and there would be some mandates and functional roles of your particular committee. So do research on the functional role and the mandates, because you cannot do anything in the committee out of that mandate. So mandate is important. Secondly, if you are facing problem with researching with the agenda, then break it down, then search in Google, and then please be sure that you cannot use any information from Wikipedia or websites like that. You have to use informations from UN recognized websites. And secondly, you can use news from your own news agency, your own government national websites. So these are the things that you can use news from. And moreover, if you are facing difficulty understanding certain issues, understanding certain issues or certain terminologies, then search for that in the YouTube. I believe you will find many documentaries on that particular terminology, so then you can understand the terminology. And moreover, you have your DIAS members in the Facebook group, so if you're facing any kind of difficulties while researching about that, do not disturb the DIAS members. And thank you, that's all for how to research on MUN.
Delegates, one more thing, very important, on your referencing. The president of UNSC just mentioned that you need, mentioned the sources. You heard him, right? Your news agency from the government or the UN sites. See, what happens is that, sir, we cannot completely deny that the news that comes on BBC or Al Jazeera is false. So what happens is that, you know, you're all grown up at this moment, so you would be able to compare and understand. Fine, for instance, there's a news report from Reuters, and then there's a news report from BBC. Which one is much more valid? Reuters, right? So this is how you compare and understand which reference would be much more acceptable. Cool? No reference is wrong reference, because see, even Reuters can be corrupted, and the information that we get from Reuters might be not relevant at times. So what happens is you compare and you try to understand which reference or which source is much more valid. Okay? Cool.
Delegates, do we have a motion on the floor? Yes, sir. The chair of DISEC.
So before that, can chairperson ask a question to plenary president as no? So why the crisis chair and the plenary president has the sore throat at the same time? The chairperson of DISEC would like to raise a motion to suspend the opening ceremony till closing ceremony. Opening plenary till closing plenary.
Do I have a second to this motion? All in favor of adjourning the opening plenary till the closing plenary, please raise your hands as we not have placards. All against?
I want to speak.
Against? Okay, so the motion clearly passes, and the president has some housekeeping. Delegates, please be seated. Delegates, please be seated. The president would give you some, the Secretary General would give you some informations.
You can ask it tomorrow. So, delegates, excuse me, delegates. I don't like this when I'm talking, someone else is talking. Excuse me, decorum. Delegates, listen, reporting time for tomorrow is 8:15 a.m. Do not be late. And one more thing, please bring your ID card and your belongings with you. We cannot deliver you again your belongings tomorrow. So don't forget your ID card and your belongings. And one more thing, you need to enter through gate number 8. So then at first you need to gather in the exhibition hall. So after that we'll take you in your respective rooms. So thank you everyone. Hope you have a good research. And so good night to you all. And one more thing, I would like to, we will have a EV members DAS meeting. So all of you please stay back. And delegates, you can go. Thank you.
The DAS members, please proceed to the stage, please.
Excuse me, delegates.